All right off the bat, technical difficulties. Thank you very much.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Welcome to the first edition of the Wednesday Really Big Barbecue Central Show. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here. We broadcast live and direct whenever we do these live shows from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. Happy to have you aboard here on the first Wednesday. As I said before, if you want to jump in on the show tonight, it's an hour. 877-448-0433. You can also email the show if you want to. Those bits of contact information will remain the same regardless of if it's a Tuesday or if it's a Wednesday. 877-448-0433. Email Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Those are the two bits of information contact-wise that you can get in touch with me. You'll notice, maybe you won't notice, got the cans on because what I've noticed over the Tuesday shows is sometimes when I go super streamlined with the IFB, sometimes the phone, when I have people on the phone, I can't hear as well with that. So I'm just testing using the big cans tonight to see if the fidelity goes back, and if I can hear better, I might actually pop back to the cans on the other really big Barbecue Central show, which takes place every Tuesday. All right, here you go. Anything you want to find out about the show, if this is your first time you've ever listened to the show, welcome. It's a Wednesday. You've been able to make time, whatever the case may be. I'm very happy that you are in the show tonight. We're going to cover a multitude of topics. I encourage you, if this is the first time you've ever heard the show live, or ever, period, that you give an effort to the Tuesday show. It's the one that's been going the longest. You know, this show isn't a new show. It's just that we're adding a new day and an hour. So instead of the 2-hour Tuesday show, we're going to a 3-hour over the course of 2-day show, Tuesday, Wednesday. We do have some really cool stuff that I think is going to be panning out of the Wednesday show, some different angles and ideas that we might like to take it in that might be a little bit separate from the show that has grown Tuesday. But we started this show, the Barbecue Central show, live almost 6 years ago in 2007. And, man, is that, so it'll be almost 7 years. It's 6 or 7 years. You take your pick. We are streaming out of a location in Los Angeles, California, and I'm in Cleveland. We had that technology available. And the guy that owned the station, Sam Hassan, at that point it was BBS Talk Radio, which has since morphed into latalkradio.com, which you can still hear the first hour right there, latalkradio.com. We've added a good handful of affiliates that do this show. And it was based about, barbecue and grilling. Prior to the show going live, it was a podcast where I was recording long-form interviews with people that I thought might be important or topical at that point, do a 35, 45, an hour-long long-format interview, as I just said, and then I would pare it down to the best 20, 25 minutes of that long-form conversation. And then I would post it once a week. So, pretty straightforward stuff, I guess. And then there was this big influx. That's right, it was called Barbecue for You. Then there was this big influx of barbecue podcasts, which have since faded, like, a lot.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Nobody seems to have the testicular fortitude to keep producing a show on a regular basis. Even some dudes that I know that I used to have on the radio network, all fallen off on the wayside. I, however, have continued to persevere with great live shows, so much so that at least 2 or 3 months ago, my wife said, you should think about doing another show. And I said, like, another night of the Barbecue Central show, or, like, a different show, like Rempe Talk Sports, or left-wing, right-wing politics talk. I mean, that's all been done before. I'm not about that stuff. I mean, I like sports, definitely not politics. So here's where we are. So we're going to give it a try, at least for the near future. We'll see how it evolves. If the show only proves out to be one that can sustain a 2-hour time slot on Tuesdays, we'll devolve. Is that what they call it? Devolve back into that? Or we'll continue to grow. Maybe the Wednesday show could grow to a second hour. And then we're having a 2-hour show, Tuesdays, 2-hour show on Wednesdays, and who knows from there. So I'm very excited about it. So if you're joining me for the very first time, welcome. I hope I give you some good information. I hope I give you some great entertainment value on top of that. And you always have the opportunity to jump in if you would care to. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. All right. Just a little recap on what happened with the show last night. We had Donnie Bray from Warren County Pork Choppers come on. He was talking about how he had a big win in Owensboro, Kentucky this past weekend, where he went up head-to-head against Tim Grant and Team True Bud Barbecue, which until this past weekend had won 6 competitions in a row. Unheard of in the KCBS. Well on his way, or many people think well on his way to winning KCBS Team of the Year. Obviously, that's what Tim is gunning for. But finally able to lock horns, go head-to-head. And in this chapter of their battle, Warren County Pork Choppers, Donnie Bray, pitmaster, coming out on top, not over finishing ahead of Tim, but actually winning the whole competition. Tim ends up taking 3rd overall, and much to do about a piece written in the paper in advance of that. People cheering Tim for the fact that he didn't win, and people wondering, is that showing any type of classlessness or whatever? Donnie talked about all of that stuff, so if you missed it, go ahead and hit the archive. You can find that at thebbqcentralshow.com. Go to show archives, and you'll get it right there. You'll also see it right there on the most recent blog post. That'll be up there at least for 4 or 5 posts until I post too much. What? Never mind. And then we also talked with David Qualls from the American Dream Barbecue team. They won the last SAM local qualifier. 2 weeks' time, he will take a shot in the regionals, and then a week after that, they turn around and go right to Bentonville, Arkansas, which is the finals of the Sam's Club. So top 50 teams that have moved on from local, regional, now to the finals will take part in the ultimate grand prize there. And then we also had our last Pit Barrel Cooker giveaway last night, graciously donated by Noah Glanville and the folks over at Pit Barrel Cooker. We did the fabulous game show Athlete or Porn Star, which is sweeping the nation. A lot of people didn't know as many porn stars as I thought. So, as I said last night, I'm either really proud or I'm really disappointed in the majority of the Centralites. Haven't made up my mind yet. However, tonight we'll also be playing the same game for your chance to win. Have I told you who's on the show tonight? I'm sorry. Let me tell you, coming up in about 5-6 minutes from now, or less, this is going to be, for this night of the show, Wednesdays, for this hour, there's going to be a good 19-20 minute segment each week with a living legend, an icon in the industry, somebody who has really gone through the ranks and blazed trails for a lot of other people in the barbecue world on a number of different facets of the industry. Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, will be joining us each and every week in the right around the 9:14 time slot. We'll see, sponsors start to potentially come on. We will have to readjust the 1 hour clock, but for now, it's probably looking 19-20 minutes. We'll see how it goes. So each week, right around the 9:14 spot, Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, will be in, and we'll be resurrecting or reviving or renewing or whatever you want to call it, whatever descriptor you want to call it. We will be doing the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. Now, this can range in a myriad of topics, and I will leave it to Ray to kind of explain the mindset of what we were looking to do or what we are looking to do with this segment, and maybe some perspective ideas on ways we might be able to grow it, stuff like that. So that'll be Ray each and every Wednesday, right around the 9:14 area. Tonight, specifically after Ray, guy who has a documentary coming out on barbecue, Mitch Csanadi, Dirt Productions, American Smoke. The real good thing with that is the fact that you're also going to be able to potentially win. Wait, if I don't have anything in the queue, is anything going to play? No. Great. The real good thing is you're going to have a chance to win a copy of American Smoke. So if you haven't seen the trailer yet, while you're watching the show, while you're watching also the wild card playoff game, which right now I don't have up-to-date information, but Cleveland losing 1-0. 1-0. Don't want that. you have a chance to win a copy of American Smoke, courtesy of Mitch Csanadi. And we will revive Athlete and Porn Star for that. So if you want to win that, that'll be towards the latter part of the hour, and we'll be ready to go. All right, let me talk to you real quickly. Because it's a new night, because it's a new night of the show, an extra hour, we're going to have 2 spots open for partnership with the show. So if you're somebody or a company that has a barbecue product or a grilling product or some type of thing that covers the facet of the industry, it doesn't have to be the standard grills or charcoal or whatever. But if you're in the industry and you think you have something that you want to get out to the consuming public, this is something that you should highly consider partnering here with this show. Why do I say that? Because unlike traditional broadcast radio, where you're going to be spending thousands of dollars a month, you might be getting, 25-30% of the listening public on regular radio that might even be remotely interested. If you partner with this show and you're within our barbecue and grilling industry, and I do have some partners that aren't even in the industry, they're jewelers and so forth, you have a target market. You are dialing straight in to a audience base that downloads this show 40, 50,000 times a month, has the built-in interest for barbecue and grilling. That's why they tune in live to the show. That's why they download the show as much as they do. So it might not be the worst idea ever to inquire, and I'm more than happy to field all your questions, direct you to the website, the BBQ Central Show, thebbqcentralshow.com. And then once you get there, in About the Show, I believe it is, you can go down to that pull-down menu, and then there's a separate page, Become an Advertiser on the show. Read it, understand it, ask me any questions you want, and what can I tell you? But I think if you're somebody that's looking to kind of get outside of the traditional advertising box or partnering box, this is the show you want. Nobody sounds better than me. Nobody does it more professionally than me. No other show on the internet. We're not dialing in on the phone, sounding like we're doing a phone on the phone, because we're doing a show on the phone. Not here.
Big stuff out of here.
We're affiliated amongst many different platforms on the internet. Well, we got Stitcher, we got Blueberry, we got Outdoor Cooking Channel, we got Roku, you name it. Soon to be potentially on traditional outdoor radio as well. All right, let me see how I can do this. I am going to raise up Dr. Barbecue Ray Lampe. You're going to stick around, and we'll be back right after this with Ask Dr. Barbecue. Stay tuned.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we're back. 877-448-0433. Emailing Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. My first guest tonight will be a weekly visitor on the Wednesday edition. One of, if not the first guy to actually make a living doing this barbecue thing, and doing it in a number of different ways within the sectors and industries of barbecue and grilling. Appeared on many TV shows, multiple-time author. He is the corporate chef for Big Green Egg, and will renew the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment right here on this show each and every Wednesday. Let's race back over to the hotline and welcome in friend of the show, Ray Lampe. Ray, how are you, buddy?
Good, Greg. How are you?
Doing
good
absolutely.
To see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you too. All right, let me make sure that I get your Skype picture up here properly. Now that we have the new show, got to make sure we got all our software going here. So, Ray, first of all, welcome in. I'm very excited about this kind of recurring partnership that we're going to be having on the Wednesday show. I mean, obviously, the Tuesday Barbecue Central show, wildly successful for many different reasons. But I thought it might be a good idea to stretch out a little bit one more night for one extra hour, and you were like the first guy to reach out to me and say, hey, probably not the worst idea. Let's have some conversations off air and see if we might be able to do something together. So, why don't we talk about that a little bit? When we were first discussing Ask Dr. Barbecue, or even just a segment in general, what were you kind of envisioning, or what are you hoping to see this segment kind of steer the barbecue and grilling industry towards?
Well, first of all, thanks, Greg. Thanks for including me, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
When I heard you were going to do Wednesday, you were thinking about doing Wednesday, I saw it as a great opportunity. At the risk of bragging a little bit, I'm the kind of guy who looks for new opportunities. What's nobody else doing? I don't want to do the same thing everybody else is. What aren't they doing? Are you there? Or am I
I'm here. I'm just grabbing your screenshot here. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I mean, I always like to look for do new things. So, a new night, that's exciting to me. And I always think, I had a great conversation years ago with me, Chris Lilly, and Fast Eddie, and everybody might remember the Maxim magazine spread. It was the first real national media any of us had gotten. And we were in New York cooking 3 hogs in a big article in Maxim magazine. And we sort of had this discussion about where this thing was going. It was probably at least 10 years ago, probably 02, 01. And where's this thing going, and how can we make it go? And the general, it's Chris Lilly and Fast Eddie. And me, the idea is, if we can help this thing grow, it gets so big that we all succeed well. And I've always had that attitude, and this is what I see, If I can help you make this show bigger and better, and it becomes a big thing, and it makes barbecue better, well, then it's a good thing. Of course, I'm promoting myself along the way. That's what you do, I'm not denying that. Don't misunderstand. But I really saw it as an opportunity to let's help you go to the next level. Obviously, things are going good if you're thinking about a next night. But I also want to do something different. I don't want to just come on here and talk about the same issues that everybody else is doing, which I figured for a new night, you needed to have some new content, something different. Right. Not going to just do the Tuesday show over again. So I thought it was a great opportunity to give you a call and let's see what we could think about.
All right, so we're talking with Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue. There has been this recurring Dr.
3-0. It's 3-0 Rays, Greg.
Oh, sweet Lord. At the risk of being arrested, I told my wife, I said, I might take the second camera. Behind me, the graphic that you see obviously is green screened. Behind the green screen is a television. I was going to set up the second camera, have the game on with no sound, and then just kind of like flip back and forth to it. But I figured there's a good potential I might get arrested for not getting express written permission from MLB to carry the game on the internet.
Well, I've turned it off, so I'll quit looking at it and ignoring you. Sorry.
Hey, I appreciate it. With 3-0, you're safe for at least 2 or 3 innings before we make the big comeback.
Yes, of course.
All right, so the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment, that's what I was talking about here before I forgot. You've done it in a number of different ways, and as we were kind of brainstorming maybe what we would like to see this segment run into, that kind of came up recurring as the theme. It was there, and then we're like, well, maybe we should do it, and then Ask Dr. Barbecue came back up with it, and we decided that we just want to call this segment Ask Dr. Barbecue, but not pigeonhole it into a list of questions or anything like that. What was your take on that?
Yeah, I agree. Well, let me tell you about the genesis of it.
Yeah.
I like to think that I do stuff first, and Bruce Ring, you got to be kind of old to remember Bruce Ring, but barbecue cook that was out of Iowa at the time. Bruce was in the banking business, and he started The Barbecuer, a magazine, and he had this magazine up and running for a while. And I called him one day, and I said, hey, I want to write the Ask Dr. Barbecue column for your magazine. He said, okay, I'll pay you when I can. And he paid me now and then. And Bruce actually bought me my first chef jacket that had the flame collar and cuffs on it. White ones I had back then, and they said The Barbecuer, and they said Dr. Barbecue, and I went and was trying to help him promote the magazine, and it was cool. In the beginning, we made up all the questions, and little by little, we got questions. The internet was starting to happen at that time, and then Bruce decided to fold up the magazine and quit his banking thing or whatever the story is, and he moved back where he lived in, I think, Jeffersonville, Missouri, and bought the Zesto. And he now sells barbecue and ice cream where he grew up, and it's a pretty cool story. Anyway, so the magazine, I was done with that. Someone told me, call Dave DeWitt. Dave, the Fiery Foods guy, had a magazine at the time. Yep. So I called Dave, and he said, yeah, I was thinking about having some more barbecue content in the magazine. Ask Dr. Barbecue would be perfect. So Dave and I were making up questions in the beginning, but little by little it grew to where we got all the questions we wanted, and it was fun. I really had a good time doing it, but Dave closed his magazine down like so many did, and and it went away. I don't, all those old questions are probably on his website somewhere. But that was the genesis of it. And I haven't done it in a long time. But so when we got with you, it was like, okay, I wanted to do something specific. Each week I wanted to do something specific, whatever that is. I don't know. Like you said, we're going to let it evolve. But is it one subject or is it 10 questions or whatever it may be? I think all of the above. But I thought it was a pretty cool way to bring it back. And frankly, I've been around so long. I cooked my first barbecue contest in 1982. I've been a KCBS member since 91. I'm member number 943, I think. I'm certified barbecue judge number 738. I just have been doing this forever, and I've been lucky enough to do all the TV shows, write books. I've been traveled everywhere and do all this stuff, and I'd like to share some of that stuff. I think I have a different perspective than a lot of guys that have come along now, and I think I can share some of the cool old stuff. But I want to be specific about it. I don't want to just sit on here, like I said, and talk about the same old things. But I got a lot of good old stories. I always say I know where all the bodies are buried, and we're going to talk about some of that stuff.
All right, can't wait to find out where the bodies are buried. We're talking with Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue. The website, by the way, if you want to check them out here while we're talking or after hours, submit a question, drbbq.com. Let me kind of build on that just for a second. If you're listening to this show either live now or, as most people do, after the fact in podcast fashion, now that we're going to be doing a weekly segment with Ray called Ask Dr. Barbecue, and you want to submit a question, you can do it. Really, the easiest way is to go to my website, go to the Ask Dr. Barbecue post, and then either leave a comment on that post, or you can email me, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. There is also a link on that post to leave an email directly for Ray. And I thought, maybe what we're going to do is during the course of, we're going to do the show on Wednesday, and then over the course of the next 6 days or so, depending on how busy you are, we're going to kind of see what questions trickle in. Maybe 1 week it's going to be a list of 5, 6, 7, 10 questions of just, plowing right through them and getting Ray's take on it, potentially mine, if I could lend any potential insight, but probably mostly yours, Ray. Or there might be 2 or 3 topics that come up that we can have discussions on. I think that kind of lends itself to being, not so, as I said again, pigeonholed, but leaves it open for kind of astute discussions in some fashions, but then perhaps other weeks it's going to be, ramming those bullet points right down and answering people's questions.
Yeah, I'm all for it. And I do own AskDrBarbecue.com, and I will, when I get around to it, point that at something too, and maybe we'll even set up a site there. Because we love to hear what people want to hear. I mean, if it's related to cooking, that's fine. That's all good and well. You want to talk about the book business or any of the other stuff I've done, happy to talk about it. Ongoing stuff too. I'm in the middle of a tailgating project right now. We're traveling around the country. I got a new book coming out. I'm going to the Greenwich Food and Wine Festival in Connecticut this weekend. I get to do all kinds of cool stuff, so I'm happy to share it and talk about it. It can be topical. I mean, we can make up the subjects too. If people don't want to send in great ideas, that's fine. We can make them up for a while. But I think I'd like to see people participate, and maybe like we talked about, maybe we have them on, have them be part of it.
Sure.
We'll see how it evolves.
Yeah, I think it's great to have somebody that does have the experience behind you and have really done a lot of things. Maybe that's perhaps the first question that I should ask you. I mean, you've been on the show a number of times. I think the first time we actually sat down and did an interview, back when the show was just a podcast, might have been 2006, maybe 2005. So really, as you add up the years, we've kind of been talking for a long time now. Mm-hmm. But maybe people don't know the story of Ray Lampe. So, I mean, that could easily take 3 or 10 hours to actually divulge all the way through to where we are present day. But, thumbnail sketch-wise, how do you get from, Ray Lampe, the original guy, to Dr. Barbecue where you are today?
Oh, man, I've told this story a lot of times. And the good news is it's all true, so I get to just tell the right story. I don't have to really embellish it much. I got to high school. I was 1971, and I was an honor student, and I got there, and I was not my thing, being an honor student. There was all the nerds. I really was more into chicks and smoking pot, and so I signed up for foods class, and this thinking it would be a goof-off class. Well, it was for a guy at the time, because it was all about teaching women how to cook for their families. It was 1972 or whatever it was. But I really enjoyed the cooking. I didn't expect that. The cooking was fun. I enjoyed it, and I always liked to do it. We cooked. I always remember we made a crab quiche and blueberry muffins and apple pie. I learned how to make those things, and I always made them. From the time I was 15 on, I cooked at home. And then I got out of high school, and I got away from it a little bit, but I would cook at home always. And in 1982, I guess I was 25, a friend of mine signed us up for a Mike Royko Rib Fest in Chicago. And I went down there with him, and I didn't really know how to cook barbecue. I did a little homework, and we borrowed a grill, and I made some ribs that day. And it just really struck me as a fun thing to do. We brought a cooler of beer. We hung out in the field all day, and we cooked ribs with a couple hundred other teams. And it was like, wow, this is fun. And it turns out, it's a great story, Sweet Baby Ray, Dave Raymond, also started that day. That was the beginning of his career as well. We put two and two together about a year ago. I was with him, talking to him, and we realized we both had started that day. And Charlie Robinson, the guy in Chicago who owns a bunch of restaurants and sells barbecue sauce as well. So that was the beginning of it for me. I did that for about 10 years, and really it was a once-a-year thing, but I always would make ribs other than that. I became the rib guy in the neighborhood. In 1991, a KCBS contest came to town, right when they quit having the Royko thing. A KCBS contest was in West Chicago, a guy named Jim Burns, and they actually have a contest back at that site, I think, now. But I think Jim's long gone. I don't know what he's doing. I haven't talked to him in years. But I showed up there, and I didn't know any better. In them days, it was poultry. So all I brought was a turkey, and I cooked this turkey. I had one of them oval Kingsford grills, and I got a third-place ribbon for that. I'd never gotten a ribbon in the trophy, the Mike Royko thing. Oh, actually, it was a trophy. It's right here in my office, the third-place poultry trophy in 1991 Illinois State Championship. And I continued to go to that for years. That's the contest that evolved to be Shannon. And I just became obsessed with it. I had a good business, though. I had a trucking business where I was successful, family business, and that's what I did for a living. So it was really just a hobby. And I continued to do it, and I was one of the first guys that would get in his car on Friday morning and drive to Kansas City and cook. I cooked in Lowry, Missouri. I've cooked all over the place. We used to go down to Tennessee before guys were doing that. Now everybody does it. But we were the first, me and Mike Lake as well. Mike was a good friend of mine, and we really cut our teeth together. Ed Royth was the guy. He had a Jed Master, and so did I, and so did Mike. And Ed was teaching us how to cook on these things, and I became really obsessed with it. In 2000, the family trucking business just came to an end. Trucking is just very different than it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
It was just time to do something different. And I decided, well, I found myself in a spot in my life where I didn't have a family to really take care of. I really had the opportunity to roll the dice. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to move to Florida and become a barbecue man. My intentions were to sell barbecue in the parking lot for the rest of my life for 8 months of the year and just go ride around the country for 4 and go back there and sell barbecue. Sounded like a great idea, except it doesn't really work. You can't make that kind of money selling barbecue in a trailer unless you're really lucky and really dedicated and you really take it on as a business. I was trying to be a bit of a roadside barbecue man, and nobody wants to believe me, but it doesn't really work. Do the numbers, guys, before you go investing in a lot of equipment. So I had to push myself out to do other things. Well, I'd won a lot of barbecue contests. I didn't mind talking to people, so I decided I would teach classes. And I started teaching classes around the country. And honestly, I was the first guy that was doing classes while he was still winning. Paul Kirk did barbecue classes before anybody, but Paul wasn't really winning when he was doing them when I knew him. Ed Royth was also doing classes, but Ed wouldn't tell you shit. He would just take your money and not tell you anything. I was really laying it out. I knew I was trying to build a business and trying to make some money. I knew if I'm going to take a couple $100 from these guys, I've got to actually tell them what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it was really a kind of a come to Jesus thing with myself before I did it. The first time I was like, wow, am I really going to tell these guys everything? Because back then, there wasn't the internet and there wasn't Blues Hog, and guys were really creative. You had to make stuff up. You had to make rubs and make sauces and mix different things together and you really different ways of cooking, and not everybody knew everything. Now, between the internet and the guys being so liberally sharing with each other everything they do, There's really not any secrets, and everybody cooks the same thing. We didn't used to all cook the same thing, and there's a great. It culminates in what's the name of that town in southern Illinois? Oh, I can't think of the name of it now. I'll think of it. Right where I-57 and 70 come together there. And we had a class at a Knights of Columbus Hall. Mike from St. Louis knew the people there. We set up this class. In the class, students were Darren Worth,
Wow.
Smokey D's, Mike Wozniak, Rod Gray, Old Dave was there, Uncle Chucky from Michigan. These guys, the Shigs and Pitt, I think, came one year. These guys, it was a lineup of guys who are now pretty darn good in this sport, and it's really makes me feel very good to have helped some of them guys along the way. So I did that stuff, and then little by little, I got a book deal because of the Ask Dr. Barbecue thing with Fiery Foods, and they liked what I did, so they asked me to do 2 more books. And then I met the folks from Green Egg, and I got involved with them, and little by little, I became a full-time barbecue man. I've been self-employed since I'm 18, and I think that's really the key. I'm not a better cook than anybody else. I'm not a better speaker than anybody else. I just really know how to manage being self-employed and being an entrepreneur, and little by little, I've been able to put this together. But so much of it is because barbecue has become, the opportunities have come. 10 years ago, we didn't have these opportunities that we have now. There wasn't anybody putting any barbecue guys on TV. I get to go to food and wine festivals. I'm doing a big tailgating tour for Sam's Club. Barbecue guys weren't getting to do that back then. We weren't getting to write books and stuff like we do now. So I've been really lucky, but I've tried to manage to stay on the front edge as these opportunities came and take advantage of them. So it's been a wild ride. There's no doubt. It sounds great now, but there's been some serious dips in cash flow along that road, but it's been fun, and it's just who I am, so that's how I got here.
Ray Lampe joining us here on the show, Dr. Barbecue, drbbq.com. Oh, plenty. Yeah, my wife is asking me how many times she's been injected. Ray, do you have an answer for that?
She's been injected?
Yes, how many times?
How many kids do you have?
Ray, what are you talking about?
Big step out of here.
All right, so that's the journey from beginning to kind of where we are now. And this segment is called Ask Dr. Barbecue. So with a couple minutes that we have left, how about we knock out a couple questions just for fun and see how it goes?
Sure.
All right, I have a question coming in from these guys with these strange email names. I don't know what it is, but it says, can you ask Ray what you would cook at a real tailgate that is only 3 to 4 hours when you show up at a real NFL tailgate? So he must be a Cleveland Browns fan, Ray, because that's where the only tailgaters come from, of course. So, I mean, if you're dealing with a 3 to 4 hour tailgate, what are you looking at?
Oh, well, I mean, that's easy. You can make, you don't have time for real barbecue, but make something special. There's nothing wrong with burgers, but make kick-ass burgers. Get some ground short rib or something and have burgers and get some couple of good cheeses, some nice buns, some bacon to put on the burgers. Burgers don't have to just be shitty frozen puck burgers. You make nice burgers. Steak sandwiches, get thin ribeyes, make steak sandwiches like that. There's all kinds of stuff you can do in 3-4 hours. That's no problem at all.
All right, so hopefully that answers your question. I got another question here from Diane. I believe she is going to the American Royal. One thing I didn't have time to do was research the best barbecue restaurants in Kansas City and environs. I don't know what that means. We'll just deal with Kansas City. Ray, do you have any favorite barbecue restaurants that somebody should go to if they're going to be in that general vicinity?
Yeah, I do. One of the things I would have to do, coming from Chicago, I didn't know what brisket was. We didn't have real barbecue in Chicago. If I wanted to learn about brisket in 1992, I needed to drive to Kansas City and go to a restaurant and eat some. Arthur Bryant's will always be a favorite restaurant of mine. It's maybe not the best food. Some days it is, some days it isn't. The old places are all kind of hit and miss like that. But, man, it's so cool to go there. The sandwich is ridiculously big. When it's good, it's really good. The history and the legacy is well worth it for me. So I love Arthur Bryant's and Oklahoma Joe's. Those guys are really doing it. There, the food is good every day. You're going to get something really good to eat. They're really nice people. They're going to treat you well. And I like Gates, too. I think Gates' ribs are still my favorite. If there's one barbecue sauce I actually like at home, it'd be Gates. So those three would be a really good place to start.
All right, they're talking about good ways to start. Just banged out two quick questions. We're talking with Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue. We're going to be doing this each Wednesday, right around the 9:14 area. I mean, things might change as, high-paying sponsors come in. We can only hope. But we'll see how that goes. But regardless, we're going to be doing 19, 20 minutes or so. So from here on out, if you have any questions, be sure to email those to me or to Ray. And as I said, we'll get on our social medias once we get some really concrete ways of listing out this stuff. And then we'll make sure that we have good segments each and every week for everybody. Ray, really appreciate you kind of latching on.
Can I tell my American Royal story? I'll make it quick.
Yes,
I promise
please.
Scotty, I would tell the Paul Kirk story.
Yes, tell it.
We will be topical too. American Royal. The first time I went, 1995, I set up. I'm green as hell. I'm from Chicago. I got a little cheap Brinkman offset, and the original one, and a kettle grill. I set up right across from me are these Texans, and they're really helping me out. Guys by the name of Bill Myers and Jamie Gear.
Wow.
So I've known Jamie since 1995, and Bill was his buddy. Sadly, Bill killed himself, and it's a sad story, but we became very good friends, and those guys treated me real well. So I'm in the invitational. I cook. There was 5 categories at the time. Sausage was one. They gave us our meat. I go over to the awards, which was it was very different. Those buildings that weren't even there now. But I go down. I sit down on a bench at the awards, and Paul Kirk is right next to me. And I mean, at that time, Paul Kirk is a god. In 1995, he is the man. He walks on water. And I'm so excited to be sitting there, and I get called. The first ribbon is mine, 5th place for sausage. I go up there, I get my ribbon, I come back, and Paul says, "Congratulations." And it just made my day. It's a great, the way I got started at the American Royal. Paul and I have had our differences over the years since then, but I'll never forget that moment.
This is Ray Lampe recounting a great first-time story over at the American Royal. I'm not going to ask you to, pick kids here, but I mean, how great of an event is the American Royal? I mean, whether you're in it to compete or whether you just kind of follow the industry in a cursory sense, is that something that people really need to get out and take in as a whole?
Oh, I think so. I think by far it's the best barbecue contest in the world. No questions asked. From a barbecue competitor point of view, the Invitational, everybody's invited and there's room for everybody. And there's a big judging procedure. It isn't celebrities. There may be a few packed in there. They need a lot of judges. I think by far the American Royal Invitational is the most prestigious event there is. And the Open is too. It's everybody's welcome. There's 500 teams. And it's a hell of a party too. If you really want to walk around and look at cool old fake shit, go to Lynchburg. I like the Jack and all, but it's not like the American Royal. You want to go to the real barbecue contest, go to the Royal.
All right, Ray Lampe is going to be with us each and every Wednesday. As I said, we'll get into social media, really get a concrete way of ushering in all these questions or topics that you would like to hear Ray's thoughts on and mine potentially. Ray, appreciate you latching on here for a weekly guest spot on the Wednesday show, and we will see you back again next week.
All right, Greg, we're going to have fun, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, Ray. Appreciate it. There he is. Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue. Weekly show. All right, perfect. Very excited about that. I hope you are too. Maybe you never heard the story of Ray Lampe and how he got into the whole barbecue scene. Now you know. You're up to date. Maybe you've never listened to all the podcast shows when I had him on originally. That's a really good one. You go back, search BBQ for the number 4, U, the letter U. BBQ, the numeral 4, the letter U, in iTunes. You can listen to those shows. Brisket roundtables, like the original brisket roundtable, rib roundtable, chicken round, all that good stuff. Awesome. All right, I'm going to chase down Mitch Csanadi, and we're going to talk about American smoke. Give me 2 seconds. I swear to God I'll be right back. Stick around.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Lampe.
All right, coming up on 20 minutes till the top of the hour, 40 past. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Thanks to Ray Lampe for laying out the first segment. Everybody knows barbecue big time these days, right? Absolutely. On the TV, how about documentaries? How about we welcome back a guy that was on the show a number of months ago to talk about it initially, but it is here and ready to go. Let's race over the hotline and welcome back Mitch Csanadi, Dirt Productions. Mitch, how are you, bud?
Ooh, Greg, how the hell are we doing?
And we're doing absolutely fantastic. Mitch, appreciate you asking. No video on you, or man, or
Great,
what?
I'm correct. Sure. What's that?
We got any video on you? Are you doing it from like iPad
Let's
1?
see. Hang on a second.
All right. See what
Yeah,
we
let's
got.
see here.
Let's check it out.
I don't think we have any video going. We just have audio.
All right, audio's fine with me. I'll blow myself out.
Yeah.
Everybody can look at me, and they can listen to your melodic tones. All right, so...
Yeah, you don't want to see pictures of me anyway. I'll probably break the screens, and people will throw up, and
hey.
we don't want to see that. It's all right.
Trust me, I deal with it each and every week when I look at myself. All right. Mitch Csanadi joining me here on the show. Mitch, you got a document. Is the documentary like officially out, or as the kids say these days, has it dropped?
It has not dropped yet. It's going to be dropping after our premiere tomorrow night at Harrisburg Invitational. Actually, the Harrisburg Barbecue Competition State Qualifier in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We're having our first premiere there tomorrow night, I think about 9 o'clock. And after that, we're going to be posting up. The link on our website where you can purchase it on dirtproductions.com.
All right, dirtproductions.com.
So we're stoked, man. I was literally driving from Philly today with 1,000 of these things in my back car, in the back trunk, just like, I hope nothing happens. It's been 2.5 years all built up to this moment, and I'm stoked, man. We are thrilled to get this thing out here. I think a lot of people are going to like it. I hope so at least.
All right, so you have 1,000 of these things in your car, as you just said. It's 2 years, 2.5 years in the making. If you can kind of scroll all the way back, I mean, what's your invest into the competition barbecue scene to the point where you thought it would be a good idea to make a documentary about it?
Yeah, it was like myself and friends of mine, we're filmmakers. We've been doing horror movies and comedies and stuff throughout the years. We're all in the business, and it's a labor of love type thing. And when I started getting into competition barbecue, the first 2 years of doing it, it was more a spectacle. You go in there, you can't believe you're looking at Paul Kirk across the way, and you're looking at all these guys that have these huge trailers and that they know exactly what to do with the brisket, and they got all the secrets. And we went in there, and I'm like, holy hell, what do I do? And I've got a $100 Lowe's smoker that I'm bringing in the back of my truck, hauling it around. And we get there, and the first 2 years I'm in there, and I'm really absorbing it, and I'm taking it all in, and I realize how really nice and cool everyone is, and everyone's helping you. And when you kind of get comfortable in there, and you kind of start getting your footing in there, you realize how awesome of a scene it is, and on top of that, how unique it is. All the different people that you meet, and some people are really into it, some people are goofy, some people are hysterical, but in the grand scheme of things, everyone is extremely nice and helpful, and they want to help you, and they want to share, and they want to see you get a call, which is kind of odd because they're your competition. So it was really 2 years doing competition barbecue and taking it in, and absorbing and just realizing we got to film this. And I was a huge fan, and I still am a huge fan of the very first season of Barbecue Pit Masters. I mean, that's right when I started to get into it, and that fueled my fire to get into it even more. And I saw this, and I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic. And I haven't seen anything else since then, where it kind of showed what it was like, in the rain competing, and what it's like to go out there for a weekend and pack your car to the gills and drive halfway across the country. You know what I mean? And there's really nothing else like that out there, show wise or even documentary wise, that shows you what it's really like. No drama, no, Myron Mixon getting fired up and screaming at someone. Cut the drama and the editing and all that stuff out of it, and show what the scene really is. And it's an awesome scene, and it's about the people, and it's about that whole atmosphere of kind of helping each other out. And I dug it. And right away, right off the bat, the first 2 years, I'm like, we got to film something, at the very least for myself. And when we film something, we don't do it with just our home video camera. We go out and we do it. So we set our goal to do that. We kind of had points that we wanted to show, and the different aspects of the competition we wanted to show, and we got it, man. We completed it, and it's freaking kick ass.
So seeing the finished product, is one thing, but actually getting the finished product is a complete different thing. How involved was that process? How open or unwilling were some teams to actually get on camera and kind of spill it, if you will? What was that process like for you?
Sure. I mean, it's always difficult from our end because I don't like invading people's privacy. I don't want to be the guy that comes running up with lights and cameras and, hey, you're on TV, ha ha. No, it's, we when we go up to people, we want to say, hey, look, this is what we're doing. This is our output. We aren't putting this out there to over dramatize it and make you hate this team and then edit it to where, that's not our goal. We stated exactly what our goal was to this, and we wanted to see who wanted to be a part of it. And, we got, it was never really, we never really set out to showcase any one team. It was more about, the teams as a whole. So when we went out there and we just kind of talked to people, for the most part, I'd say 99% of the teams were like, absolutely, come on in, we edit this in a way that we never really show exactly what one team does, say for brisket. We followed Apocalypse Now around, which those guys are great. Yeah. And, we never wanted to show, and that was my promise, was I'm never going to show start to finish exactly step by step what you do. That's not the point of this. So intermixed with Apocalypse Now talking about what they do for their brisket is, Chris from Zombie Barbecue talking about what he injects in his brisket, and then mixed with that is what Smokerhead is talking about what they do with their brisket. So, you edit all three of those together in a way that's interesting. You have three different perspectives, yet you're not spilling the beans on exactly what these teams are doing and their secrets, because that's not what we were trying to do. We really wanted to showcase how different, you can do one piece of meat. And that's kind of how we went into editing this. So not to give away, we didn't want to, it is hard. It's different when you have a big lens in your face and there's lights around you and you're tired and it's 3 a.m. and maybe, your smoker went out, or maybe, you're not up to temp where you need to be. And that, you're stressed out as is, let alone having, us in your face asking you questions. It's kind of annoying. So, we got the information that we needed, and then we kind of just sat back and let them do their typical bit. And it turned out great, man. It turned out good. It's really, we have over, I think we showcase over, 15 to 20 teams total. We cover all 4 categories, chef's choice, we cover whole hog. And then we talk about judging, and we talk about, we interview butchers, local butchers, and talk about where the meat comes from and the specific cuts of meat and how important, a quality cut of beef is, to win. And we start from there and we just go with it. We talk to judges, we talk to people in the crowds. So it's a great hour and a half of really the whole experience. And also, another thing was when we started, I, as much internet searching that I did, and as much, searching that I tried to get, the information, what do I do for chicken? Is it thighs? Is it legs? Okay. Everyone's doing the cookie cutter thing. Do they all want to be this shape? The information was scattered. I'm not saying it wasn't out there, but it took me probably 2 to 3 years to get a method down, or to get the exact, to kind of sort through the BS and figure out what you're doing. So I'm really happy to present in American Smoke, kind of a how-to for the people that want to get started in this and don't know, one, are scared to death and think it's, that they can't do it. And two, where to start. And they may not have the knowledge of exactly what to do with chicken. Well, here at least is a stepping stone. And here's at least what's happening now, and here's a start, and here's some visuals for you. Here's what some guys are doing. And at least, I wish I would have had something like this 2 years ago. I probably would have quickly, jumped on it and got my technique down a little bit better.
Chris Csanadi joining me here on the show. The website dirtproductions.com, just the way it sounds, dirtproductions.com. This is going to be revealed tomorrow. And is it for sale, or is it like on pre-order or what? On sale, and premiered on Friday. What's the price point on this?
It's gonna be $15. $15. Wow. I think that's a fair bit. We're also again, the first pressings that we have are standard def DVDs. They still look amazing. We're going to be doing Blu-ray because we shot all this in absolutely stunning high definition. So it would be a waste to not. But Blu-rays are a little bit more expensive, and we're putting a little bit more time into putting some bonus features and a little bit more color correction for the Blu-rays. So those will be out by Christmas is our plan, hopefully sooner. But we're getting the standard def DVDs out there first, and hoping to have some Blu-rays out by Christmas time. And Blu-ray, truly, when you get to see it, in its high definition form, I mean, the majority of this stuff is food porn. It is just absolutely gorgeous slow-mo shots of barbecue sauce running down, a chicken breast down the thigh. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's really they're beautiful, unbelievable. We have a great camera for this, and the shots are just. I swear to God, you'll be starving at the end of this. Every time I edited, every 40 minutes, I had to go grab a sandwich or something because I was freaking starving. The footage is so awesome.
Well, we're looking forward to it. We're actually, through your good graces, we're going to be giving away a copy here in just a couple minutes. So we certainly appreciate that. But again, for people that want to jump in on it now, dirtproductions.com, $15. So, I mean, it's like, hardly any money for what sounds like it's going to be a great barbecue documentary.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's received very well. I think it will be. Our goal would be, and our goal is to hopefully, keep doing another series of this. I would really love to showcase other parts of this country. And unfortunately, due to budget, we weren't able to travel all around this country for a month. You know what I mean? It was just out of our realm. But I would really love to showcase other competitors all around this country, and showcase the other organizations, not just KCBS or Mid-Atlantic, and really see how it differs and compare, what's happening all across this country. Because to me, this is just the beginning. I'm hooked just like everyone else. And there's so much more to explore with barbecue, and the sheer fact it's just really an American tradition. It's an awesome tradition. I want to keep going with this, and we would love to, film at the Jack. We would love to film at the Royal. We would love to properly shoot around this country and make another series. And hopefully everyone can see, the quality that we're putting out, and that we are taking it seriously. And, it's we take it very seriously. We're very proud of it. So hopefully it's received well, man. I hope so.
All right. Chris Csanadi joining me here on the show. Certainly appreciate the time tonight again. Dirtproductions.com. Mitch, really appreciate you coming on tonight, buddy.
Hey, Greg, I appreciate you having me, man. Seriously, you have a great show. I hope that this thing keeps going. And it's great that you're on Wednesdays now as well.
Absolutely. All right. Appreciate you coming on. There he is.
Absolutely.
The main man, Mitch Csanadi. All right. Now you have a chance to win right now a copy of American Smoke. If you haven't seen the trailer, go to dirtproductions.com and check it out. I think it's going to be, for first effort, I think it's going to be really great. And, who knows where it's going to go from there. All right, we're going to play a game while we're doing it. 877-448-0433. 877-448-0433. We will revive the game that we played last night called Athlete or Porn Star. You call in, you get 2 names right, you're going to get a free copy of the American Smoke documentary. So, there you go. 877-448-0433. I have heard from a number of people that know Mitch, and this one is definitely going to be well received. I think regardless. So all right, let's go to the phone lines. Who are we talking to?
That is David.
David, how are you tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, David. All right, we're going to play Athlete or Porn Star. Are you ready to play?
If I win, this could be difficult to explain to the wife.
Hey, it'll just be a secret between you and I. All right,
okay.
So you got to win, or you got to get 2 names in a row. You got 5 seconds in between each name. It's very simple. I'm going to tell you a name. You're going to tell me if it's an athlete. You're going to tell me if it's a porn star. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, first name, David. Shannon Box, athlete or porn star?
Athlete.
Absolutely. She is a soccer player. Shannon Box. Sounds like a porn star. All right, second one. You could get this right off the bat. Win your copy of American Smoke, graciously donated by Mitch Csanadi. Oliver Buff, athlete or porn star?
Porn star.
Oh, no!
Sorry, David, I got
Suck
you.
again!
Oliver Buff is a soccer player. And a male soccer player at that, believe it or not. All right, who we got on the line with us?
It's Crash.
It's who?
Crash.
Crash from Hawaii?
How's it, my brother?
Oh, aloha malaka pisai. I don't even know what that means.
That means nothing.
Oh, okay, good. That
How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous. Crash, and yourself?
I'm doing very good.
You want to play
No
athlete?
complaints.
You want to play athlete or porn star to win a DVD?
I'll give it a shot, man.
All right, here we go. I'm going to ask you 2 names. So you got to get 2 names correct. You got 5 seconds in between each name. Here's your first name. Katie Cox, athlete or porn star?
Athlete.
No.
Oh, no! We suck again!
Katie Cox, believe it or not, is a porn star. But appreciate you calling from Hawaii. What? It's like 5 o'clock in the evening there. All right, so we're looking for a winner. 877-448-0433. It's a very simple game. Sweeping the nation. I'm going to ask you a name. You got to get 2 correct. You got 5 seconds in between each name. You can win the brand new documentary called American Smoke from Mitch Csanadi and Dirt Productions. DIRT. DirtProductions.com if you want to forego buying. If you want to forego winning. I understand that. Just buy your own. It's $15. Give me a break. All right, who are we talking with?
Adam Hawthorne.
Adam, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good. Very good. How are you?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Adam. Appreciate you asking. Ready to play athlete or porn star?
I'm ready.
All right, first name, Chris Adcock, athlete or porn star?
Athlete.
Correct. Chris Adcock, a soccer player. No surprise there. All right, for all the marbles, Pee Wee Gash, athlete or porn star?
Porn star.
No.
Oh, no!
Sorry.
We suck again!
Pee Wee Gash is a athlete. All right, who are we talking with?
Hello?
Who's this?
Big Mustache.
Neil, Mr. Arby's Big Mister! I know we're going to win here. Neil, how's life being a celebrity?
I wouldn't know.
All right.
The phone keeps ringing, and I keep getting messages on Facebook. Hey, I got a question about this film, and I got some friend of mine kind of busted my chops about asking about this.
Oh, all right.
And I looked at the trailer.
Yeah.
And I watched it all the way through, and I didn't see anybody that looked like me.
You didn't see
So
a
I
rather...
was wondering where this was filmed.
You didn't see a rather rotund barbecuer? I did.
No, they were all rotund.
I did. What are you saying? There were no
They just
black
didn't look
people?
like any of them had been barbecued.
You saying there's no black people in the documentary, Neil?
Well, I don't know about the whole thing. All I have to go on is the trailer. That's why I was wondering where it was
Oh,
filmed.
boy. Oh, boy. Now we're talking about deep issues. That's not what the show's about, Neil. You call Chris Csanadi and bring up that with him. I'm just trying to give you free DVDs by playing a very fun game called Athlete or Porn Star.
Okay, give me free stuff.
All right, here we go. All right, well, you have to win free stuff. Here we go. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to give you two names. You got to win two in a row. And it's very simple. I'm going to give you the name. You're going to tell me if it's an athlete or a porn star. Easy enough?
Easy enough.
All right, here we go. First name, Chanel Preston, athlete or porn star?
Porn star.
Absolutely right. Chanel Preston, porn star. All right. Second one for all the marbles, Neil. You're very smart. You're probably up on your porno, so I got to make sure I have this properly placed. All right, here we go. Karen Cockburn, athlete or porn star?
Athlete.
Absolutely right. God damn it. Not only is he winning on the TV, he is winning right here on the Barbecue Central show. All right, Neil, all you need to do is send me your shipping info. And now, of course, that you win this, I would expect nothing but a full reveal if there are black people in this documentary, so we can make sure, well, I don't know what we're making sure of, but at least that way we can make sure of whatever you're making sure of.
Well, like I said, I'd like to know where it was filmed, if it's not.
New England. It was filmed like in the New England area.
Oh, well, that explains it.
Yeah, there's no black people in New England. Neil. Nobody. Except,
that explains it.
No, just the professional athletes, and, of course, they're not barbecuing yet.
Too cold up there.
That's right. You're damn right. All right, Neil. So send me your shipping info, and I'll get that over to Mitch, and you'll be all taken care of.
All right, good to talk to you,
All
Anthony.
right, you too, buddy. Take care. Call you later. I'm going to call Neil on the hotline and see exactly what's doing. I don't know if I caught that right, but I believe Neil calling racism on the documentary. All right. Maybe he was. I don't think he was. You know Neil. Hawking brisket sandwiches for Arby's. You're always looking for an angle, Neil. All right, first show on Wednesday, already over time. Thank you for coming. Sorry, Kevin. Ray Lampe joined us in the very first interview segment. We're going to be joined by him each and every week. Ask Dr. Barbecue. So if you want to ask Ray a question, do it. Email me, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. You can also go to the website and look for the Ask Dr. Barbecue post. I'll make sure I put it prevalently up there so it can be an ongoing thing. You can also hit me on Facebook, Twitter at The BBQ Central Show. Also, thanks to Mitch Csanadi from Dirt Productions talking about American Smoke. You can go to Dirt Productions, buy your copy for $15 right now. Neil Straughter won the free copy that Mitch gave away tonight, amidst rumors of racism. If you cook with raw cast iron, re-season it each and every time. Hit it with a brush as it cools down, a little Pam, little Crisco, let it burn back in, re-season it each and every time. Generations of rust-free service. Also, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Hey, appreciate you joining me here on Wednesday. We'll see you back on this show next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.